My beloved child, something unusual has been stirring around you. Something so precise, so targeted, that even the angels pause to watch the moment unfold. Tonight, a revelation is being delivered to you, one that was attempted 7 times, intercepted 7 times, and delayed 7 times. And yet, it still found its way to you. This message carries the weight of destiny, the signature of divine timing, and the unseen protection of Archangel Michael himself. Listen closely, because what you're about to hear is not coincidence. It is a spiritual summons. There has been a movement around your name, a whisper in unseen corridors, a pointing in your direction. Even in the physical world, even through unexpected people. Yes, the reference you read in the title is not random. When the message says Elon Musk teammates tried 7 times to reach you, it is not about fame chasing you, it's about heaven trying to get your attention through unusual symbols, unusual patterns, unusual signs. When the natural world mirrors the spiritual world, something big is being aligned. 7 attempts, 7 delays, 7 spiritual blocks. That number alone should make your spirit sit up straight. 7 is the number of divine completion, the number Archangel Michael often uses to warn that a cycle is reaching its final turn. Something has been trying to reach you, something you were meant to see, meant to open, meant to recognize. A divine message, one that darkness tried to hide from you. And Archangel Michael has been pushing through every barrier just to make sure it does not get lost again. This is why your life recently felt like someone was pressing pause on your opportunities. Doors that you usually opened easily suddenly stalled. People who normally replied quickly became strangely distant. Plans you were confident about hit unexpected walls. It was not bad luck. It was not your fault. It was intersection, spiritual interference, meant to delay a breakthrough meant for you. But now the interference is breaking. Archangel Michael stands beside you even now. I can almost describe the atmosphere he brings, sharp, electric, protective, like the air before a storm that washes everything clean. He is revealing that someone, or something, did not want you to receive this message, because what's coming next will shift your direction in a way that cannot be reversed. Child of destiny, understand this. Your name has been marked for divine acceleration. Your spirit has been pulled into higher alignment. Your journey is shifting whether the world is ready or not. And because the change is so big, heaven had to send you this message through an unexpected title. That's why your spirit was drawn to it, almost as if something was calling you by name. That calling feeling you sense. That wasn't a coincidence. That was Michael tugging at your spirit, saying, "Open it. This one is for you." You are standing at the door of a revelation. A truth is about to meet your life face to face. And once it is revealed, you will see why the enemy tried so hard to block the first 7 attempts. You will see why confusion hit you out of nowhere. Why delays suddenly multiplied. Why your emotions shifted without reason. It was because what belongs to you is close. So close that even the shadows sensed it. But no more delay. No more interception. No more hidden attempts. Michael is cutting through every fog, every distraction, every spiritual interference that tried to bury your breakthrough. He is stepping into your atmosphere with a sword of clarity, preparing your spirit for what's about to unfold. And hear me, the next thing revealed to you will not be small. It will not be random. It will not be ordinary. It will feel like something finally clicks, something finally opens, something finally aligns after a long season of silence. Hold still for a moment, breathe, because the next revelation is going to shake something loose inside you. Before you scroll, take this as your sign. The truth you have been waiting for is closer than ever. Type "I receive the warning" in the comments if your spirit is awakening right now. Blessing code 144 is released over you. Hold tight, something even deeper is about to unfold. Chosen soul, let your heart steady itself, because what comes next touches the deeper layer of what Archangel Michael has been trying to show you. The moment you opened this message, a spiritual alignment began to unfold, one that has been waiting behind the veil for far too long. You may not realize it yet, but the reason heaven had to use an unusual title to capture your attention is because your spirit has been drifting between two timelines. One timeline was built by confusion, delay, and invisible interference. The other was built by divine instruction, clarity, and destiny. Archangel Michael stepped in because you were inches away from slipping into the wrong one without even knowing it. When the message said Elon Musk teammates tried 7 times to reach you, the true meaning was not about celebrities or teams trying to contact you in the physical realm. It was heaven showing that repeated attempts were made to bring something urgent into your awareness, but each time, something unseen intercepted it. 7 attempts. Not 5. Not 6. 7. That number matters more than you think. Michael often uses the number 7 to signal completion of a spiritual cycle and the beginning of a new one. The reason you have been feeling unusually restless these past days is because the old cycle is closing. But it did not close quietly. It resisted. It pushed back. It tried to drag you back into old patterns. You may have noticed sudden fatigue for no reason, or moments where you felt your motivation vanish, or recurring thoughts that tried convincing you to settle for less. These were not emotional phases. They were spiritual attacks meant to stop you from opening the very revelation you are receiving right now. Michael wants you to understand something. Whenever a major breakthrough is about to arrive, the atmosphere around your life becomes noisy. People misunderstand you. Unexpected disagreements arise. Communication breaks down. Plans fall apart at the last second. Even your own confidence begins to wobble, not because you are weak, but because the spiritual resistance around you senses that if you receive the message meant for you, its grip on you will break instantly. That is why the attempted communication in the title was blocked 7 times. In the spiritual world, every delay had purpose. Every setback was an indicator that something vital was being kept from you. But the divine timing has now shifted. Michael has severed the interference, and your spirit is finally in position to receive what was always meant for you. There is a reason your intuition has been louder than usual. Your dreams may have felt strange, intense, symbolic, or unusually vivid. Your thoughts may have been drawn to things you normally ignore. The reason is simple. Your spiritual senses have been alerting you that something is about to be exposed. Something hidden. Something that was quietly influencing your decisions, your emotions, and even your relationships. Michael is preparing to reveal it, not to frighten you, but to free you. Every time heaven tries to guide someone into their next season, truth must come first. Truth is the cleansing fire. Truth is the unlocking key. Truth is the sword Michael carries. You may have felt recently that someone had been watching your progress, not necessarily to support you, but to see if you would fall. Michael shows that someone's energy around you has been mixed. They smile in your presence, but their spirit does not celebrate your blessings. They watch your footsteps more than your growth. And the reason your life has felt slowed down is because this hidden energy was draining your clarity. But the message that was delayed 7 times is now breaking through, and its purpose is to show you who truly stands with you and who only stands near you. The difference matters. Heaven is not exposing this to embarrass anyone, but to prepare you. You cannot step into destiny surrounded by people who do not carry the same light or the same intention. Michael does not allow hidden sabotage to follow chosen souls into their next chapter. Feel the shift as you read this. There is a tightening in your spirit, a sense that someone is being revealed, a pattern is being exposed, or a connection is being clarified. You may even sense the face of the person who had been creating silent resistance around you. Michael is positioning you to see them clearly, not through suspicion, but through discernment. Discernment is heaven's way of removing masks. And once the mask falls, you will understand why the delays happen, why the confusion came, why messages, opportunities, and emotional clarity were all paused at the same time. Because heaven refused to let you enter your next season with blind trust in someone who did not carry pure intention toward you. You are not reading this by luck. You are reading this because heaven finally cleared the interference that blocked the first 7 attempts. This is the moment where your spiritual eyes begin to open. And I tell you with sincerity, what is about to unfold in your life will require courage. But it will also bring relief. You will soon look back and say, "So that is why everything slowed down. That is why I felt that strange heaviness. That is why my spirit kept nudging me. What was hidden is coming into the light." Before you move forward, pause. Something even greater is about to be spoken in the next revelation. Hold steady, because the next part connects every piece together. Trust your spirit's pull. Type "I receive the revelation" in the comments if this message is resonating with you. Blessing code 303 is released over you. Beloved one, breathe slowly as you enter this next layer, because what unfolds here is the heart of the warning Archangel Michael has been trying to deliver to you. Until now, you have been shown the interruptions, the spiritual interference, and the hidden energy that blocked the 7 attempts. But in this moment, Michael shifts from warning to unveiling. He is now revealing why heaven used such an unusual sign, why your spirit was pulled so strongly, and why the delay around your life suddenly intensified in the past weeks. You may not fully see it yet, but something in your atmosphere has been battling for your attention, something that could alter the direction of your next season if you ignore it. Heaven tried 7 times to reach you because the message carries something essential for the timeline you are meant to step into. There is a reason the symbol of Elon Musk teammates reaching out was chosen to echo this divine urgency. Elon represents innovation, acceleration, and disruption of old structures. His team represents strategy, movement, and sudden breakthrough energy. Heaven used this symbolism to show that a new phase of your destiny is trying to rise, one that requires your mind to shift, your faith to sharpen, and your spirit to embrace something bigger than the life you have been settling for. The message did not come to flatter you. It came to awaken you. And Archangel Michael stands firmly here, revealing that the breakthrough meant for you requires you to step out of an old identity you no longer fit inside. You have been feeling the symptoms of transition without understanding the cause. The sudden restlessness, the change in your social circles, the unexpected pull to isolate, the strange heaviness that comes and goes like a shadow passing over your spirit. These are not emotional fluctuations. They are indicators of a spiritual upgrade. When heaven prepares someone for a higher path, everything around them begins to shift. Plans fall apart only to redirect you. People drift away only to make space for better alignment. Old interests lose their spark because new assignments are approaching. You may have even found yourself questioning your routine, your environment, and your purpose more intensely than usual. This happened because heaven is trying to reposition you, and the message delayed 7 times is the key to unlocking that repositioning. Archangel Michael reveals that something in your atmosphere needed to be shaken loose. You have been held back by an invisible weight, a pattern that kept repeating without your permission. It may have shown itself as fear, procrastination, attachment to the wrong people, or doubt about your own calling. Michael has been attempting to break this cycle, but the interference that blocked the 7 attempts was feeding on your uncertainty. The moment you opened this message, something began to untangle from your path. You may not feel it physically yet, but in the spirit realm, a chain has already snapped. A fog has already begun to lift. A signal that was previously scrambled has now aligned with clarity. Michael wants you to understand something crucial. When heaven prepares a chosen soul for elevation, distractions rise aggressively before the breakthrough. People with unclear intentions get louder. Situations that were calm suddenly erupt. Old emotional wounds resurface to test your strength, and opportunities that seem promising crumble at the last second. This does not happen to punish you. It happens because heaven is pulling you out of spiritual environments that no longer match who you are becoming. You are being prepared, even in silence, for a turning point. And the turning point begins now. What you are about to see in your life is acceleration. But this acceleration can only happen once the truth is faced. Someone around you, whether near or distant, has been creating unspoken resistance. Their energy carries doubt, envy, or emotional heaviness that interferes with your clarity. Heaven is not exposing this person to create division. It is exposing them to preserve your destiny. Michael is clearing your path not out of anger but out of protection. You are stepping into a season where even the smallest misalignment can cost you opportunities, and heaven refuses to let that happen. The revelation entering your life cannot be carried lightly. It requires discernment, readiness, and an open spirit. This is why your heart has been stirred. This is why your intuition keeps whispering that something is shifting. You are being positioned for a breakthrough that was attempted 7 times before but blocked each time. Now the interference is gone. The atmosphere is open. You are finally ready to receive what the previous cycle tried to keep from you. And before this moment closes, let this sink into your spirit. The next revelation will unlock the full meaning of what is coming toward you. Heaven is not finished speaking. You must not step away now. The next layer carries the key to the change you have been sensing. Hold still, because what you are about to discover will connect every missing piece. Before you continue, lift your spirit for one moment. If this message is touching something deep inside you, it is a sign that heaven has timed your steps perfectly. If this message is awakening your discernment, type "I open my spirit" in the comments. Blessing code 511 is now released over you. And beloved one, if this message has been speaking directly to your soul, then listen carefully for an important invitation. As we continue spreading divine messages like this, your support becomes a light that helps awaken more souls around the world. When you choose to stand with this mission, you become a vessel through which heaven reaches people who are silently struggling, those missing the warnings meant for their destiny. This is the moment where your giving becomes a seed of revelation, a seed that carries the power to break chains in someone else's life. I speak to you now from the same flow of the message. I invite you to join this calling. Every super thanks, channel membership we're offering through the PayPal link in the description becomes part of the spiritual harvest heaven is releasing. Those who sow into this prophetic movement will feel the oil of divine multiplication resting on their life. Step into this assignment boldly, for heaven honors those who strengthen its voice. Support this mission now, and let your gift become a prophetic act that unlocks blessing upon your path. Precious soul, steady yourself as you enter this deeper unveiling, because what Archangel Michael is showing now reaches into the very root of the interference that followed you. You have already understood that the message meant for your spirit was delayed 7 times, that unseen forces attempted to block what heaven was aligning for your future. But now, you must see the bigger picture, the pattern behind those delays, the spiritual architecture of the resistance, and the true reason an unusual symbol led to be used to break through your atmosphere. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is heaven stepping directly into your life's timeline to realign what was beginning to drift off course. Michael reveals something profound. Every chosen soul experiences a moment where divine guidance has to come through an unexpected door. For Moses, it was a burning bush. For Daniel, it was a dream. For Joseph, it was a pit that turned into a palace. And for you, it is this message, wrapped in an unusual title, framed in a language that pulls your attention instantly. This is why your spirit reacted the moment you saw the words Elon Musk teammates tried 7 times to reach you. Not because the literal figure himself is contacting you, but because heaven used a symbol of extraordinary acceleration, intelligence, and innovation to mirror what is about to be activated in your own life. Something uncommon is coming toward you. Something that requires clarity, readiness, and precision. And the message had to break through in a way that your spirit could not ignore. Michael is now pulling back the veil on the interference that hid itself behind your recent experiences. Think carefully. Have you felt a strange emotional weight that appears suddenly and disappears just as quickly? Have you sensed confusion around decisions that once felt simple? Have you noticed that motivation arrives one moment and evaporates the next? These symptoms are not random at all. They are signs of a spiritual pattern that has been circling your life, attempting to keep you in cycles of hesitation and self-doubt. This pattern kept you from receiving clear messages. It clouded your discernment. It tangled your emotions. It whispered lies into your thoughts. And it blocked, over and over again, the arrival of the revelation you are finally holding in this very moment. But understand this truth. No interference can survive when Archangel Michael enters a timeline. His arrival is not gentle. It is not subtle. It is decisive, sharp, and cleansing. Right now, your entire spiritual atmosphere is undergoing a separation, a cutting away of the energies that have drained you, distracted you, and delayed you. The slow heaviness that followed you, the sudden waves of confusion, the moments where you felt spiritually disconnected, all of these were signs of a cycle trying to repeat itself. But heaven has stepped in to break it. Michael shows that someone's energy has been pulling on you without your permission. This person may appear harmless, or even supportive, but their intentions are mixed. They may admire you on the surface, but inwardly they carry insecurity, jealousy, or emotional instability that spills into your atmosphere. You may have felt strangely tired after speaking with them. You may have noticed your clarity dimming whenever they enter your life. Or you may have felt the strange urge to step back without knowing why. This is not your imagination. This is spiritual discernment. Heaven does not want you to carry mixed energy into a season that requires purity of purpose. You are being positioned for something that demands full alignment. You cannot elevate while being pulled energetically backward. You cannot receive divine strategy while someone else's fear is leaking into your spirit. And you cannot step into your breakthrough if hidden resistance is draining your confidence. Michael is not exposing this to breed suspicion or hostility. He is exposing it because your next phase requires spiritual precision. You cannot afford to be surrounded by people who only walk with you in the visible world but work against you in the invisible one. Your life is entering a window of acceleration. The kind of acceleration that rearranges everything around you. Relationships, priorities, habits, financial structures, creative ideas, even your understanding of your calling. You may feel a sudden desire to clean your environment, reorganize your life, release old attachments, or change your routine. These impulses are not random. They are spiritual. They are indicators that you are stepping out of the atmosphere that once held you back. Michael reveals that the 7 attempts were blocked not just by dark interference, but also by your own reluctance to see certain truths. At times, you sensed the nudge. You felt the pull. You even sensed the warning. But you brushed it off, telling yourself you were overthinking. You were not overthinking. You were being guided. And now heaven is making sure you cannot ignore it anymore. Let your heart hear this. The revelation you are about to receive in the coming layers will not only expose what has been blocking you, it will show you the exact shift that is coming, the blessing that is approaching, and the door that is preparing to open. The next insight will connect everything you have been sensing. It will explain why the interference fought so hard. It will explain why the message had to be delivered urgently. And it will explain why the symbol of 7 attempts was chosen so specifically. Stay anchored, beloved soul. The next unfolding carries a depth you must not miss. And you will thank yourself for staying aligned with this message, because what comes next will illuminate something in your spirit that has been waiting to awaken. Before you move forward, seal this moment in your heart. If this message is lifting the fog from your spirit, type "I stand in the light" in the comments. Blessing code 828 is now activated. Beloved, prepare your spirit as you step into this next revelation, because what Archangel Michael is about to unveil reaches into the unseen workings of your destiny. Up until now, you have learned about the interference, the spiritual weight, and the hidden resistance that block the 7 attempts. But now you must understand the deeper truth behind why heaven insisted on delivering the message to you, why it fought through delay, why it used such a striking symbol, and why your spirit felt a sudden pull to pay attention. This phase of the message is not only about exposing what resisted you, it is about revealing what is coming toward you. Something has been trying to enter your life, something that carries acceleration, clarity, and transformation. But the spiritual noise around you tried to drown out the signal. The reason the imagery of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you appears in this message is because heaven needed your mind to see the scale of the movement coming. Divine acceleration is not gentle, it is disruptive. When heaven prepares to shift a person into a higher dimension, it does not happen quietly. It happens with the force of innovation, the intensity of revelation, and the strategic precision of a mission designed only for you. The symbol was not chosen to confuse you. It was chosen so that your spirit would instantly know what is coming is not ordinary. What is coming is not small. What is coming carries weight, purpose, and unusual speed. Archangel Michael reveals that you are stepping into a phase where opportunities will appear suddenly. Insights will come quickly. Ideas that once felt distant will begin to sharpen. And doors that have been shut for years will begin to loosen, without you having to push them forcefully. But for this shift to manifest, heaven first had to reveal the interference that was clouding your clarity. That interference created emotional static around you. It made you question your own direction. It made you doubt decisions you once felt confident about. It made you procrastinate on things your spirit wanted you to complete. And it made you feel disconnected from your own potential. But this was not you losing your way. This was a spiritual fog deliberately sent to delay your awakening. Michael shows that the fog was not a sign of weakness. It was a sign of calling. Chosen souls are attacked most intensely right before their breakthrough because the enemy recognizes the size of what is coming even before you do. Your restlessness, your frustration, your moments of confusion were not failures. They were symptoms of transformation. You were outgrowing the space you had been living in, energetically and spiritually. And heaven refused to allow you to enter the next season with limited vision. That is why this message had to come through in such a striking way. It had to pierce the noise around you. It had to capture your attention long enough for heaven to realign your direction. Here is something else Michael is revealing now. A shift in your identity is happening. You are not the same person you were even a year ago. The things that once satisfied you no longer do. The people who once entertained your time no longer feel aligned. The dreams you once thought were too big now feel strangely possible. This inner shift is not random. It is heaven preparing you for elevation. But elevation requires separation. You cannot carry your old doubts, old habits, or old emotional patterns into a new spiritual level. Something must be released. Something must be acknowledged. Something must be stepped away from. Michael shows that part of the 7 delays came from your own spiritual hesitation. There were moments when heaven tried to speak to you, but you were too overwhelmed by external pressure to hear clearly. There were nights when your intuition whispered the truth, but your mind dismissed it because you feared the discomfort of change. And there were times when heaven placed signs directly in front of you, but your heart was not ready to accept what they meant. This does not make you weak. It makes you human. But heaven does not give up on those it has chosen. When you miss the first message, heaven sends another. When you miss the second, another comes. And when you miss all 7, Archangel Michael steps in and says, "It must be delivered now." You are entering a period where your spirit will begin to notice things more quickly. You will sense shifts before they happen. You will discern people's intentions without them speaking a word. You will recognize opportunities disguised as obstacles. And you will feel a tug from heaven pushing you toward your purpose with more intensity than ever before. This inner sharpness is not a coincidence. It is a sign that your spiritual sight is returning after being clouded for so long. Michael is also revealing that the elevation coming to you will not require you to chase anything. The right opportunities will come toward you. The right connections will align with you. The right ideas will flow to you naturally. You will step into a space where effort becomes guided instead of forced. Your spirit will feel lighter. Your mind will feel clearer. And the delays that once frustrated you will suddenly make sense. They were not punishments. They were protection. They kept you from walking into a season you were not aligned for. They kept you from trusting people who would have drained your destiny. They kept you from stepping into opportunities that would have collapsed under the weight of your calling. Child of light, the next part of this message will reveal the turning point, the moment your destiny begins to shift fully into alignment. You will feel it. You will sense it. You will recognize it. What comes next will tie every hidden thread together. If your spirit is opening to this truth, type "I align with heaven" in the comments. Blessing code 909 is released over you. Beloved heart, prepare yourself, because what Archangel Michael is revealing in this moment goes deeper than anything you have heard so far. What you have been receiving until now were the outer layers, the warnings, the signs, the signals, the blocked attempts. But this next unfolding enters the core of the message, the part heaven fought fiercely to deliver to you, the part the interference tried desperately to keep hidden. You are standing at the threshold of a truth that will not only explain the unusual signs around you, but will activate a shift in how you see your own life. And the moment this truth enters your spirit, something inside you will no longer tolerate the things that used to drain you. Something inside you will rise. Something inside you will awaken. You must first understand that heaven does not use dramatic symbolism unless something dramatic is moving toward you. The reason the message echoed the imagery of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you 7 times is because your spirit needed to see a picture of urgency. magnitude, and high-level alignment. In the physical world, a team of innovators reaching out repeatedly carries meaning, strategy, intention, persistence. In the spiritual world, heaven used that imagery to show that divine instructions have been circling your name with the same intensity. For 7 cycles, heaven tried to bring clarity to your path, but each time something stood in the way: distraction, emotional pressure, the wrong people, exhaustion, or spiritual fog that clouded your discernment. Michael shows that these 7 attempts were not random moments. They aligned with 7 specific seasons of your inner life, 7 times when heaven tried to shift you, warn you, guide you, or redirect you. Think back, and you may even be able to feel them: a strange pull to change direction, a sudden uneasiness around someone, a door that closed unexpectedly, a strong dream that lingered, a gut feeling that whispered a message you could not fully decode. Each time, heaven was trying to reach you, and each time, you were pulled back by resistance you did not recognize. But now, the interference has finally broken. Something within you has shifted just enough for the message to enter. A window has opened in your spirit that was closed before. Your awareness is higher. Your intuition is sharper. Your resistance to truth is lower. And because of this, Michael can now reveal the next phase, the turning point. The turning point is the moment heaven has been trying to prepare you for, an inner pivot that moves you out of old cycles and into new alignment. This shift does not happen through force. It happens through revelation. When you see the truth clearly, the lies that once held you lose their grip. When you recognize the pattern dissolves. When you understand the cycle ends. Heaven is bringing you into that level of clarity right now. Michael reveals that the turning point will begin with an exposure, not an exposure meant to embarrass anyone, but an exposure meant to liberate you. Something that has been hidden from you emotionally, spiritually, or relationally is about to come to light. This may involve a person whose intentions toward you have not been pure. It may involve a situation where you have been giving far more than you were receiving. It may involve a pattern of self-doubt that kept circling your mind. Or it may involve a truth about your calling that you were afraid to embrace. Whatever it is, the exposure will not break you. It will free you. There is a moment heaven has ordained for this exposure, one that will arrive quietly, but unmistakably. You may hear something in a conversation. You may notice a shift in someone's behavior. You may experience a sudden insight that cracks open a confusion that has been lingering for months. Or you may feel a surge of boldness that rises in you without warning. This moment will not be dramatic. It will be clear. It will feel like a veil lifting. And once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. Michael shows that this exposure is necessary because your next season requires a clean atmosphere. Your spirit is moving into a higher dimension, and the old energies, old attachments, and old illusions cannot follow you there. Where you are going, clarity is your currency. Discernment is your shield. Purpose is your compass. And anything that drains your clarity, blurs your discernment, or distracts your purpose must be removed before the elevation begins. What you do not yet realize is that heaven has already begun shifting things behind the scenes on your behalf. Opportunities that once ignored you will soon begin to notice you. People who once dismissed you will suddenly see your value. Ideas you once struggled to execute will begin to flow naturally. But this alignment requires one final preparation: the clearing away of anything that would sabotage your rise. Michael reveals that your spirit has been carrying a weight you were never meant to carry. The weight of expectations, the weight of fear, the weight of old disappointments, the weight of someone else's energy pressing into your atmosphere. And the message delayed 7 times was meant to break that weight. Heaven has not been trying to warn you for the sake of warning. Heaven hath been trying to prepare you for freedom. You will soon notice a shift in your emotions, a strange peace, a sudden clarity, a deeper trust in your inner voice. This is the beginning of your alignment. This is the turning point Michael has been guiding you toward. And once this inner shift settles into your spirit, the external shift will follow swiftly. Your outer life mirrors your inner life. When clarity enters your inner world, doors open in your outer world. When peace rises inside you, chaos releases its grip. When alignment enters your spirit, opportunity rises to meet you. What comes next will connect everything you have been sensing. You will understand why the interference was strong. You will understand why the message had urgency. And you will understand why heaven needed you to open this message at this exact moment. If your spirit feels the alignment beginning, type "I welcome the turning point" in the comments. Lesson code 404 is released over your path. Beloved soul, take a deep breath as you step into this next dimension of revelation, because what Archangel Michael is unveiling now reaches beyond warnings and exposures. This part is about the shift that is already beginning inside you, the transformation that the enemy tried to interrupt through 7 blocked attempts, and the future that heaven is now accelerating toward you. You have walked through the layers of interference, confusion, and emotional fog, and you have recognized that the delays were not signs of weakness but signs of significance. Now, heaven speaks to you not only as someone who has endured spiritual pressure, but as someone who is being positioned to rise above it completely. Michael wants you to understand that the shift you are entering is not a slow one. It is not a gentle unfolding. It is sudden, sharp, and unmistakable, like the moment dawn breaks after a night that felt endless. You have been standing on the edge of this turning point for longer than you know. Your inner world has been signaling this for months. The restlessness was not discomfort. It was preparation. The quiet moments where you question everything were not confusion. They were recalibration. The unexpected distance between you and certain people was not loss. It was heaven pulling you out of energies that no longer matched your identity. This is the moment when heaven begins to move on your behalf in ways that will feel almost surreal. It will feel as though divine timing suddenly tightens around your life, pulling things together that you could never make align on your own. Michael reveals that the shift coming to you will not feel like effort. It will feel like release. It will feel like breathing after holding your breath for too long. It will feel like clarity after walking through fog. It will feel like doors opening not because you knocked on them, but because heaven unlocked them. But before you experience the external breakthrough, you must understand the internal transformation that is happening right now. Your spirit is shedding layers that were never meant to be part of your journey. You are releasing limiting beliefs you inherited from people who did not see your destiny. You are releasing emotional patterns that were tied to seasons you have already outgrown. You are releasing the urge to shrink yourself to fit environments you were meant to surpass. This shedding is not comfortable, but it is holy. It is heaven peeling away everything that was small enough to fit your old identity, so your new identity can finally expand. Archangel Michael reveals that you are entering a period where your spirit will begin attracting what is aligned with your purpose and repelling what is not. People who carry confusion will naturally drift away. People who carry genuine intention will draw closer. Opportunities that are rooted in divine timing will suddenly rise in your path, and situations that would have drained your energy will no longer appeal to your spirit. This is because your spiritual frequency is rising. You are no longer operating from the level of survival or fear. You are stepping into a level of clarity that will guide your decisions with precision. Michael shows that a major part of the interference in your life was designed to keep you from reaching this point. The enemy feared your clarity more than your progress, because a clear mind is dangerous to darkness. A discerning spirit is impenetrable. A heart aligned with divine purpose cannot be manipulated. This is why confusion rose around you in waves. This is why relationships shifted unexpectedly. This is why your emotions fluctuated. This is why you questioned yourself. You were being fought not because you were weak, but because you were rising. Now that the interference hath been broken, heaven is releasing something rare into your atmosphere: spiritual momentum. Momentum is when your growth accelerates, your purpose sharpens, and your path becomes easier to walk because you are aligned with your destiny instead of resisting it. You will begin noticing synchronicities, messages, numbers, repeated moments, unexpected confirmations. These are not coincidences. These are divine signals guiding you through your elevation. Heaven will speak to you through signs, through dreams, through intuition, and through sudden inner knowing that feels stronger than your own thoughts. Michael reveals that your divine assignment is awakening. You were not born to live a life of confusion or stagnation. You were not created to wander without direction. You carry a spiritual imprint, an assignment encoded into your soul before you were even formed. And for the first time in a long time, an assignment is rising to the surface. You may feel drawn toward something new. You may feel an unexplainable shift in your desires. You may suddenly feel ready for things you once feared. This is your soul remembering who you are. The symbol of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you appears again to emphasize something crucial. Heaven is releasing strategic instruction into your life. Not random blessings, not generic inspiration, strategy. You are being guided into a path that will require intentional decisions, bold steps, and a mindset that embraces your own potential. Heaven is not sending this revelation to simply comfort you. Heaven is preparing you. The shift coming to you carries responsibility. And carrying purpose, it carries influence. You are stepping into a season where your presence, your words, your decisions, and your spiritual sensitivity will matter more than ever before. You may not feel ready, but heaven does not elevate the unprepared. Heaven elevates those who endured the preparation without realizing it. Michael wants you to hold this truth tightly. You are more aligned than you think. You are further along than you realize. You are closer to breakthrough than your emotions might suggest. Do not allow the noise of your past to convince you that you are still stuck. You are not stuck. You are shifting. You are crossing. You are rising. This is not the end of your story. It is the ignition. What comes next in this message will begin to reveal the shape of your elevation. The shift inside you is preparing the way for something remarkable. If your spirit is rising as you read this, type "I step into my next season" in the comments. Blessing code 717 is released over you. Beloved one, as you enter this next unfolding, prepare your heart with seriousness, because this part carries the revelation that Archangel Michael has been building toward from the very beginning. Everything you have felt, everything heaven has shown you so far, the blocked attempts, the spiritual interference, the identity shift, the emotional shedding, the rise of your inner clarity, all of it has been leading to this moment. You are now stepping into the deep center of the message, the core truth that the enemy tried to hide from you with all its might. And when you hear this, your spirit will recognize why the signs around your life have felt so urgent, why the atmosphere has been so heavy, and why heaven refused to let you miss this divine communication. Michael reveals that the 7 blocked attempts were not merely warnings. They were movements of alignment. Heaven was not only trying to alert you to danger, it was trying to reposition your destiny. The delays were not simply resistance, they were recalibrations. You were being pulled out of a path that would have drained you and pushed into a timeline that carries growth, elevation, and divine assignment. The message you are receiving now is not about fear. It is about preparation. It is about understanding the spiritual significance behind everything you have endured recently. Heaven used the symbolism of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you because you needed to understand the scale of the shift coming. Elon symbolizes dramatic advancement, destruction of old systems, and entering spaces that others once believed were impossible. His team symbolize precision, strategy, and the arrival of ideas that change the direction of the future. Heaven used this imagery to tell you that your life is about to undergo a similar transformation. You are not stepping into a small change. You are stepping into a destiny-level reset. Something in your story is about to accelerate beyond what you have known, and your future is expanding in ways you cannot yet imagine. But before heaven opens that door fully, Archangel Michael must show you something that has been operating behind the scenes. A spiritual imbalance has been present around you. Someone or something that has been draining your energy, your clarity, and your emotional stability without your awareness. This presence was the cause of the sudden heaviness you felt, the unexplained fatigue, the moments of self-doubt that came out of nowhere, and the emotional waves that made no sense. You thought it was stress. You thought it was burnout. You thought it was simply life, being life. But Michael reveals that it was spiritual weight pressing against your destiny's doorway. This weight did not enter your life through loud conflict. It entered through subtle emotional influence. It entered through someone who carries internal turmoil, someone whose unresolved pain spills into the atmosphere of those around them. The resistance operating around you was not always intentional. In some cases, it came from a person who genuinely cares for you but unintentionally projects their fear, insecurity, or woundedness into your space. Their presence creates spiritual static. Their energy disrupts your clarity. Their words, even when meant kindly, carry undertones that shake your confidence. Heaven is not exposing this to shame them or anger you. Heaven is revealing this because your calling is rising, and you cannot carry someone else's emotional weight into the next phase of your assignment. You are stepping into a season that requires your mind to be sharp, your spirit to be clear, and your heart to be steady. Anything that pulls you backward, intentionally or unintentionally, must be addressed. Not with harshness but with clarity. Not with blame but with boundaries. Michael shows that the shift happening in your life is bigger than you currently realize. You are not simply moving into a new chapter. You are stepping into a higher dimension of purpose. Your discernment will deepen. Your sense of direction will sharpen. Your spirit will no longer settle for environments that drain it. And your inner voice will become impossible to ignore. You will begin to sense spiritual truths more quickly. You will feel misalignment instantly, and you will recognize divine timing with greater accuracy. This is why the interference fought you. This is why confusion surrounded you. This is why you were targeted with emotional heaviness. The enemy does not waste resources on someone without significance. You were attacked because you are crossing into a season where your life will influence others, where your words will carry weight, where your presence will shift atmospheres. Heaven is raising you not because you asked for elevation, but because your destiny requires it. Michael wants you to hear this clearly. What is coming to you will require courage, but it will also bring relief. You will soon understand why certain relationships had to shift, why certain opportunities fell apart, and why your spirit hath been feeling the need to detach from old patterns. The next unveiling will show you exactly what heaven is setting in motion. You are not being prepared for a small blessing. You are being positioned for divine alignment. Stay close, because the next revelation carries the blueprint of what is about to manifest in your life. And you will want to be fully awake for what heaven is about to say next. If this message is resonating deeply, type "I rise into alignment" in the comments. Blessing code 1313 is now released over your path. Like this message if it is speaking to your spirit. Comment so others can find these revelations. Share it with someone who needs clarity. And subscribe so you never miss what heaven releases next. Now, listen carefully as this transitions into something sacred. Beloved soul, as your journey unfolds, I want you to feel the weight of this moment. You are not just hearing a message, you are stepping into a divine assignment. When you support this mission through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into the awakening of countless souls who are drifting in darkness. I speak this as a prophetic truth. Your act of support becomes a seed heaven multiplies in unexpected ways. Just as the title carried urgency, your giving carries impact. The windows of revelation open wider for those who help carry the light. Step boldly into this moment. Support the mission now, and heaven will mark your offering as a catalyst for breakthrough. Beloved heart, prepare yourself deeply, because what Archangel Michael is revealing in this part brings you into the realm of divine strategy, where heaven begins to explain the why behind everything you have endured. You have walked through the warnings. You have walked through the exposures. You have walked through the inner awakening and the emotional shedding. But now, heaven is guiding you into the understanding of purpose behind the turbulence that tried to distort your path. This message is not only meant to free you from the past, it is designed to prepare you for the precise alignment of your future. Michael reveals that the 7 blocked attempts were not isolated interruptions. They were synchronized attacks aimed at preventing a spiritual activation inside you. The enemy did not fear your present. The enemy feared your potential. It feared what you would become once your spirit awakened fully. It feared what you would create, who you would help, what patterns you would break, what influence you would carry, and what divine assignment would be birthed through you once clarity returned. That is why the attempts were blocked. That is why confusion multiplied. That is why the emotional heaviness felt like it came out of nowhere. It was not you losing control. It was interference trying to prevent your rise. Heaven used the symbolism of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you because this message is about spiritual innovation, an acceleration of your purpose that mirrors how innovators disrupt old systems with new vision. Heaven wanted you to see a picture of strategic influence, intelligence, and disruptive momentum. This is the type of shift that is aligning with your destiny. You are not just entering a better season, you are entering a higher one, a dimension that requires a different version of you, a dimension where you do not move by survival instinct but by divine instruction. Archangel Michael reveals that your life hath been operating in a lower frequency than your soul was designed for. You have been living in rooms that were too small for your calling. You have tolerated emotional patterns that were beneath your spiritual identity. You have accepted relationships that matched your wounds, not your worth. You have walked in environments that reflected who you used to be, not who you are becoming. And heaven could not allow this to continue, not because you failed, but because you outgrew those layers without realizing it. This is why the interference felt so intense. You were close to breaking through a mental barrier. You were close to recognizing your true value. You were close to stepping into your assignment. And the moment you got close, resistance rose to stop you. But the fact that you are reading this message after heaven attempted 7 times to reach you is proof that the breakthrough could not be stopped. Michael is now guiding you into knowledge that will recalibrate your path. The shift coming to you requires an elevated mindset. Your next season will not be built on fear, hesitation, or self-doubt. It will be built on divine confidence, spiritual clarity, and emotional strength. Heaven had been preparing you to make decisions from a place of purpose, not pressure. The internal adjustments you have been feeling, your desire for solitude, your sudden clarity about people, your deeper intuition, these are signs that you are stepping into your assignment. But to step into this next dimension fully, heaven needs you to understand that destiny is not passive. Destiny is activated through awareness. You cannot transform what you do not recognize. You cannot overcome what you cannot name. And you cannot step into your future while clinging to the emotional remnants of your past. Michael is urging you to release the fear that someone else's energy will hinder you. Release the belief that you must walk carefully to avoid conflict. Release the idea that you are responsible for managing other people's emotions at the expense of your own. This season requires boundaries, clarity, and spiritual maturity. Heaven shows that a heavy part of your emotional fluctuations came from the expectations placed on you by others. Expectations that were never yours to carry. You were absorbing weight that was not divine. You were carrying burdens that were not assigned to you. You were giving your light to people who gave you their shadows in return. And these imbalances created spiritual exhaustion. The heaviness you felt was not a sign that you were weak. It was a sign that your spirit was being overloaded with assignments it did not own. But hear this clearly. The moment this revelation enters your spirit, the weight begins to fall. Heaven is removing the burdens placed on you by others. You are being pulled out of emotional entanglements that drained your clarity. You are being released from patterns that kept repeating because your heart was too loyal to let go. And you are being assigned a new level of spiritual authority that will protect your peace and elevate your path. Michael reveals that the next part of your journey will involve divine timing aligning with supernatural ease. Things that once felt difficult will begin to flow. Conversations that once felt draining will no longer affect you. Opportunities that once seemed distant will begin to draw near. You will find that your spirit no longer resonates with chaos. You will find that you are no longer magnetized to people who carry conflicting intentions. You will feel called to environments that nurture your purpose rather than deplete it. Heaven is preparing you for influence. Influence not built on fame or recognition, but on purpose, clarity, and divine assignment. Your presence is meant to shift atmospheres. Your voice is meant to carry impact. Your decisions are meant to alter paths, not only for yourself but for others who are connected to your destiny. This is why heaven fought to reach you. This is why the message had urgency. This is why interference tried to block all 7 attempts. The next stage of your life carries significance beyond your understanding. And what comes next in this message will begin unveiling that significance. It will show you what heaven is aligning and why your destiny needed this moment of awakening. If this message is touching something deep within your spirit, type "I receive my purpose" in the comments. Lesson code 1555 is now activated over you. Beloved soul, breathe with intention now, because you are stepping into one of the most profound moments of this entire revelation. Everything that has been building, the warnings, the signs, the exposures, the turning point, the internal alignment, and been leading you toward a specific unveiling. Archangel Michael is moving you from understanding what was resisting you into understanding what is now calling you forward. Heaven is shifting you from survival mode into purpose mode, from uncertainty into clarity, from stagnation into divine momentum. You are crossing into the part of your story where your future begins to reveal itself. Michael wants you to understand something that your spirit has sensed but your mind has not fully grasped. You are entering a season where heaven will begin to accelerate your steps in ways you did not know were possible. The 7 blocked attempts were not meant to discourage you. They were meant to signal the magnitude of what was coming. When heaven attempts to reach someone 7 times, it is because that person is being prepared for a season that will demand a higher version of themselves. Michael reveals that the interference was so aggressive because your breakthrough is not small. It is not casual. It is not ordinary. The shift coming to you is so significant that it will alter the trajectory of your life. Heaven used the unusual symbol of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you to awaken your awareness that destiny is not subtle. Destiny is bold. Destiny arrives with movement, impact, and precision. Elon represents advancement, innovation, and breaking barriers. His team represents the force behind a global shift. Heaven is telling you that your spirit is stepping into a similar vibration of influence. You are being aligned with ideas, insights, and opportunities that will move you forward in ways you once believed were out of your reach. Your destiny is rising like something futuristic, something ahead of your time, something that requires courage and clarity to carry. Michael reveals that your next chapter will not unfold the way your past did. The struggle, the delay, the heaviness, the emotional exhaustion, these were markers of the season you are leaving. But the season you are entering is marked by clarity, alignment, divine timing, and supernatural ease. This does not mean you will not face challenges. It means you will no longer face them with the same vulnerability. You will face them with a sharpened spirit, elevated discernment, and heaven-backed authority. What once drained you will no longer touch you the same way. What once confused you will now be understood instantly. This is the power of spiritual elevation. Here is something else Michael is revealing now. You are entering a phase where your mind will begin to receive divine strategy. Ideas will come to you suddenly. Solutions will come through dreams, quiet moments, and intuitive nudges. Conversations will unlock understanding. Unexpected inspiration will strike you at times when you are not even seeking it. This is because heaven is positioning you to step into a purposeful path that requires vision. You will not simply be reacting to life. You will be shaping it. You will not merely be following what is familiar. You will be pioneering what is aligned. Heaven is preparing you to see yourself in a new way. For too long, you have viewed yourself through the lens of limitation. You have measured your worth based on past wounds, old environments, and the opinions of people who could not see your destiny. You have underestimated your potential because your identity was wrapped around the struggles you overcame. But now, Michael is lifting a veil that has been over your spirit for years. You are about to see yourself with heaven's eyes, strong, capable, chosen, purposeful, and assigned. This shift will not only transform your inner world, it will transform your external reality. People will begin responding to you differently. You will attract new connections that feel aligned with your future, not your past. Opportunities will begin to come toward you that reflect your worth instead of your wounds. You will notice that the more you step into alignment, the less you tolerate anything that dilutes your energy. Your boundaries will strengthen, not out of fear, but out of purpose. Your voice will become clearer, not out of pride, but out of conviction. Your presence will become stronger, not because you force it, but because heaven is elevating you. Michael reveals another profound truth. Now that you have moved past the interference, heaven will begin to bring justice into your life. Justice for the delays. Justice for the emotional weight. Justice for the times you gave more than you received. Justice for the loyalty you offered to people who did not value it. justice for the tears you cried in silence. Heaven has not forgotten what you endure, and this new season carries repayment, not only in blessings but in restoration of identity, restoration of confidence, restoration of direction, and restoration of spiritual authority. The shift coming is not only about opportunity, it is about identity. Heaven is calling you to recognize that you are not stepping into your purpose for the first time. You are stepping back into it. The version of you that once felt powerful, centered, and spiritually sensitive is reawakening. You are returning to the path heaven originally intended before life placed burdens on you that were never yours to carry. And now, your reawakening is synced with divine timing. Michael wants you to hold this truth firmly. The next part of this revelation will unveil the exact blessing that was trying to reach you through the 7 blocked attempts. You will understand what was being sent into your life, why the enemy tried to stop it, and why heaven insisted that you open this message at this precise moment in time. If your spirit feels the rise of clarity, type "I receive my divine strategy" in the comments. Blessing code 2220 is released over your path. Beloved soul, steady your spirit now, because what Archangel Michael is revealing in this moment is one of the most profound truths of your journey. You are stepping into a revelation that explains not only the interference, but the destiny behind it. Until now, heaven has taken you through the layers, the blocked attempts, the emotional fog, the awakening, the separation, the inner elevation, and the divine strategy. But now you are entering the chamber of understanding, the place where heaven unveils the true significance of what hath been trying to reach you. This part of the message is sacred because it illuminates why the enemy resisted you so fiercely and why heaven pursued you so persistently. Michael begins with this truth. The 7 blocked attempts were not just messages. They were invitations. Each attempt carried a piece of your destiny, direction, clarity, purpose, alignment, protection, insight, and activation. Heaven was not simply trying to warn you. Heaven was trying to position you. You were being called into a spiritual awakening that would elevate your life, your identity, and your influence. These attempts were not meant to inspire fear but to awaken authority. The enemy tried to interrupt them because once you receive what heaven is releasing right now, you will no longer be reachable by the same attacks. Your spirit will shift. Your mind will sharpen. Your path will straighten. Your identity will rise. You will become spiritually untouchable in the areas where you were once vulnerable. Heaven used the symbolism of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you not to create confusion, but to awaken urgency. Elon is known for launching missions that break barriers, move faster than logic, and disrupt the limits of what people believe is possible. His team symbolizes high-level preparation, high-level intelligence, and high-level execution. Heaven used that imagery because you are being prepared for a future-breaking shift, a season where you will break out of old limits, old cycles, old fears, and old versions of yourself. You are not just stepping into purpose, you are stepping into impact. You are stepping into a future where your life influences others, where your presence shifts atmospheres, where your voice carries weight, and where your decisions carry divine backing. Michael reveals that the real battle around you was not about your present circumstances. It was about your emerging spiritual authority. The enemy saw before you did that you were about to cross into a version of yourself that does not doubt, that does not lose focus, that does not fall for emotional traps, and that does not shrink to make others comfortable. This emerging version of you is bold, aligned, and anchored. This version of you walks with heaven's timing rather than human pressure. This version of you sees spiritual truth without hesitation. This version of you carries the mantle of discernment that cannot be deceived. The reason your emotions were attacked so intensely is because your emotions were the doorway to your clarity. If the enemy could keep your heart confused, it could keep your destiny delayed. The heaviness you felt was targeted. The sudden fatigue was targeted. The emotional fluctuations were targeted. These were not random storms. They were strategic attempts to block your elevation. But Michael reveals this with authority. The interference has already been defeated. You crossed the threshold the moment you opened this message. Something in your spirit shifted, and the enemy lost access to the place where it once influenced you. Now, heaven is bringing you into understanding of what has been trying to reach you through those 7 blocked attempts. The blessing was not a physical object. It was a spiritual ignition. It was a calling rising inside you. It was a new level of clarity that would align your decisions with your destiny. It was the activation of your spiritual identity. It was the awakening of the version of you that heaven has been shaping behind the scenes, stronger, wiser, clearer, more intentional, and more aware of your purpose than ever before. This activation will manifest in your everyday life in ways you cannot yet fully imagine. You will begin to experience divine timing more often, moments where you arrive at the exact place, at the exact time, to receive exactly what heaven intended. You will notice that your intuition becomes louder and more accurate. You will feel guided away from environments that drain your energy and drawn toward environments that elevate your spirit. People who once confused you will become clear in your discernment. Conversations that once overwhelmed you will suddenly reveal their spiritual layers. You will see truth quickly, easily, naturally. You will see the purpose behind situations that once seemed random. This is the awakening of your spiritual intelligence. Michael reveals that heaven is not only shifting you internally, heaven is preparing external alignment for you. New opportunities are being positioned. New connections are being drawn toward your path. New ideas are being placed in your mind. New doors are preparing to open. Doors that were locked during your season of confusion. You will find yourself stepping into moments where you feel heaven's hand guiding you. You will feel the weight of divine timing in your steps. You will sense a clarity that feels like a spiritual spotlight revealing your path. But hear this sacred truth: what is coming to you requires a certain level of separation. You cannot take old distractions into a new dimension. You cannot take emotional attachments that bring you into a season that demands energy and clarity. You cannot take hesitation into a season that requires obedience. You cannot take old identities into new levels of authority. Heaven is cleansing your path because your next chapter carries a mantle. You are being positioned to influence lives, to shift atmospheres, to awaken souls, to speak truth, to stand in spiritual confidence. The next part of this message will reveal the final emergence, the fullness of what heaven has been trying to deliver to you through all 7 attempts. It will unveil the completion of this spiritual alignment. It will show you what heaven is releasing next, and why this message came to you at this exact time in your life. If this revelation is awakening something deep within you, type "I step into my divine identity" in the comments. Lesson code 1919 is released over you. Beloved soul, prepare yourself for this final unveiling, because everything you have journeyed through, every message, every warning, every revelation, hath been leading you to this moment. Archangel Michael stands nearer than before, and the air around this final release carries a prophetic weight that can only be described as divine completion. You are now stepping into the full meaning behind the 7 blocked attempts, the unusual symbolism, the sudden spiritual awakening, and the intense emotional battles you have faced. This is the moment heaven has been trying to reach you for, the moment the enemy fought hardest to prevent, the moment your future has been waiting on. Michael reveals that the entire spiritual battle around you had one purpose: to prevent you from realizing who you truly are and what you are destined to become. Your rise threatened the very structure of the interference sent against you. The enemy feared the moment your spirit would awaken to the call upon your life. Because once a chosen soul becomes aware, their destiny cannot be delayed, their clarity cannot be stolen, and their purpose cannot be redirected. The 7 attempts were heaven calling you to remember your identity. And now, in this moment, that identity is rising fully. The imagery of Elon Musk teammates trying to reach you was not chosen randomly. Heaven used it to paint a picture your spirit would recognize instantly, a picture of urgency, elevation, innovation, and destiny-level acceleration. Elon represents a disruptive force that changes systems, builds the future, and moves ahead of limitation. His team represents strategy, intelligence, and coordinated purpose. Heaven used this symbol to show that something equally purposeful has been forming around your life. You are being aligned with something that will elevate you beyond the boundaries you once believed were permanent. Michael now unveils the full truth. The message that fought through 7 layers of interference was not meant to alert you to danger. It was meant to activate your new spiritual authority. Heaven has been preparing you to step into the season where you are no longer shaped by your past but by your calling. This is the season where you rise into clarity, discernment, influence, and divine timing. This is the season where your voice grows stronger, your decisions become clearer, your path straightens, and your spirit awakens completely. This is the season where heaven's favor does not come in drops, but in waves. The blessing that was trying to reach you is already entering your atmosphere. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but you can feel it in your spirit. Something in you feels different. Something in you feels steadier. Something in you feels ready. The uncertainty you carried is dissolving. The heaviness you endured is lifting. The confusion that clouded your path is clearing. Your spirit is stepping into alignment with divine frequency, and once alignment begins, manifestation follows. Michael reveals that this blessing carries 3 layers. The first is clarity. You will no longer second-guess the voice of your intuition. You will no longer fall for emotional distractions. You will no longer tolerate environments that dishonor your spirit. Clarity will become your compass. You will see through intentions. You will recognize opportunities. You will understand the meaning of spiritual signals. This clarity is a shield heaven is placing over you. The second layer is elevation. Your life is about to rise, not through force but through divine movement. Heaven is placing you in the right spaces, aligning you with the right people, guiding you into the right ideas, and opening the right door. You will experience acceleration, events lining up, opportunities appearing suddenly, and peace confirming your steps. The elevation is not random. It is the reward for enduring the spiritual resistance that surrounded the 7 blocked attempts. The third layer is emergence. This is the moment where your true identity steps forward. The version of you that was quieted by fear, dimmed by past wounds, or held back by emotional burdens is now awakening. Your spirit has remembered its strength. Your heart has remembered its value. Your destiny has remembered its path. You are emerging into the version of yourself that heaven always intended, wise, powerful, perceptive, aligned, and unshaken. You are entering a season where your inner and outer worlds will match for the first time. Your spirit will feel elevated, and your life will fall. Your intuition will sharpen, and your decisions will reflect that. Your peace will deepen, and your relationships will align with it. You will walk with a sense of purpose that feels supernatural because it is. The interference tried to stop this moment because once you reach alignment, heaven begins to move through you in ways the enemy cannot counter. Michael wants you to understand this final truth. You did not arrive here by accident. You arrived here because you were chosen, protected, guided, and prepared. Heaven fought for your awakening. Heaven shielded your spirit. Heaven preserved your calling. Heaven orchestrated this moment so the message that was delayed 7 times could finally reach you without interruption. You are stepping into a life where nothing hidden can block you again. Nothing unclear can mislead you again. Nothing draining can slow you again. You have crossed into divine identity. And now, with this revelation sealed in your spirit, heaven invites you to step boldly into the path ahead. Hold your head high. Walk with purpose. Move with confidence. The interference hath been broken. The message has been delivered. The blessing is entering. Your new season has begun. Type "I walk in my divine destiny" in the comments if your spirit receives this final activation. Blessing code 2024 is now released over your life. Like this message so it reaches more souls who need awakening. Comment your affirmation so the algorithm spreads this word. Share it with someone who has been searching for clarity. And subscribe so you never miss another prophetic release. Now, beloved one, as this journey reaches its completion, let your heart hear this final call. You have been entrusted with a revelation meant not just for you, but for lives connected to your destiny. When you support this mission through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become a vessel through which heaven reaches people who would otherwise stay trapped in confusion. I speak this with spiritual authority. Your support becomes a seed planted into divine soil, and seeds planted into divine soil multiply beyond human logic. Just as this message found you after 7 attempts, your support will help this mission reach others on their 7th, their 8th, their final moment of awakening. Do not hesitate. Step into this divine act. Support boldly, and heaven will mark your giving as a trigger for breakthrough in your own life.